So we are talking a lot about how to improve the plotmanship, right? And we have some equipments ongoing. It's coming for us. We assess the Crop to End Hunger Fund to be able to buy this for a couple of centers across Africa. So I think the first question is how this investment can contribute to a better plotman. How this equipment that is coming to you will improve the plots. So we talk a lot about weed, right? So you are bringing some sprayers for you. How do you think this kind of equipment can improve this plot, sir? So maybe someone want to start to say about that's not able to do a good plot. You want to start good. You want to start to say, like, if you cannot do it a good plot because you don't have some kind of equipment or something like this, go ahead.
So actually, it's just something that crossed my mind that Wilson said this morning about people being in the field for too long, right? Part of that is because they are weeding, right? And by bringing in equipment, it's going to speed up the processes. So we're going to take that burden off the people so they won't have to be spending that time in the field. And then, of course, the equipment is going to make our operations a little more reliable, and the data that we're going to gather from the plots is going to be more accurate. So I think this is something that's welcome for us. We're looking forward to this, and we can't wait for you guys to ship the equipment to us sooner. So yeah.
Samoa is missing some equipment in the stations, and this is the main reason for don't do a good plot. How about you, Gabriel? So I think the others doesn't need equipment, huh? We can distribute for the other stations.
No. I do actually. So I think having equipment will actually help on good plotmanship, because it's going to make our work be more precise. Because what we do, we are working with research, so every little details matter, and this is what and this is where calibration comes in equipment. So a well-calibrated equipment will give you a well or even distribution of whatever application you're doing, either spraying or fertilizer application or manure spreader. So it's going to make our field and our data more reliable. So please, I'm begging, I need equipment in Abuja station. All right, thanks.
Let's get some representative of the side, right? Nobody contributes here. So do you think it just bring the equipment we solve? You improve your plot, or you do think a part of the equipment you need something else?
It will indeed improve. And let me also say quickly that Mr. Ali has just gotten us a new tractor, and he's keeping it like a baby because of some of the things that are attached to it. And he's put something like, forgotten the name now, that I was trying to tell him that when we're trying to put up an experiment, I was trying to tell him that yes, we have GPS, that we have a tractor on ground that we can use to do what we used to do. He said, no, we cannot give him straight lines. I said, but this is what we have been doing. He said, yes, he doesn't believe in what the lines we are giving him are not straight enough, because if we use a GPS, it's going to give us very straight lines, which I think it will make us more professional. Makes the operator to be more professional and be proud of what he is doing. And when we do that, I think the other people who will be coming to see what we have done will be appreciated. I think we need it. In fact, but I need more equipment than the small stations.
So I think Gibbs, you want to comment?
Yeah, I think we also need the equipment from Zambia. I think if you observed the last time you came to Zambia, the whole farm, we only have a tractor, which means that during peak times, like this time, only one tractor. We depend on manual labor because we have a lot of activities that are going on the farm. We have weeding, planting, cultivating, ridging, all those things. So when the tractor is busy with one activity, it means we have to depend on manual labor for spraying and the rest of the activities, mowing around. So, and when you look at our season, it's quite short. And these days it's a bit unreliable. We have a short window over which to do all these agronomic practices. And then now when you know, manual labor is quite slow. So if the equipment is brought in to help us, that would greatly help us to do all activities in time, and also maybe to be efficient, because equipment are usually, at least you can calibrate them. Unlike an individual, the way one is weeding here or spraying will not be the same with the other person there. So that also introduces a bit of variations in the trials. So I think equipment would really go a very long way in easing our work.
That's true. Mechanized operation usually have more uniformity, right? Maybe manual operation can be higher quality than the mechanized operation. But if you control that person very well, if he's not tired, if he has a good mood to work, right? So mechanized operation usually is more uniformity. And this is a better for breeding, because you can have a really bad plot, but if it's uniform, you can get it, the variation, right? So mechanized is very important for breeding. Go ahead, Francis.
Yes, apart from the equipment, what about the training of the operators? What about maintenance, spare parts? Mr. Alexa, that place down the farm office used to be the store for tractor and implements spare parts. We had Ekong, we had Shola, who were our store officers linked up to the other store, but they were farm staff. And we had all our engineering things put in that store in the name of the farm. So you don't have to start running up and down and going for Oracle and things like that. Even when you have to do Oracle, which is very bureaucratic, the mechanic, who is also part of the team, goes to the store and collects the part, and he finishes the paperwork thereafter that I have collected this, approvals and co and co. So the time we use in repairing things becomes short. But today, we have an over-centralization that is impeding our operations. So it's not only equipment, the training of the operators, and then the spare parts that will keep us going for as long as it will take, that will keep those equipments in good shape.
Yeah, perfect. So for you, sorry, you want to comment? Sorry. Go ahead.
I understand that the question was for Alec, but let me give a small thing about that. Maybe Oracle is highly bureaucratic. It takes maybe some time, but this is where the planning comes in. Okay, this is one. Two, the logistics have to fit in the process that we work. Without this logistics, without this record keeping, without this data that we have, we will not be able to get organized. It's easy for me to go to any store, okay, or any storage room, grab an item and go, okay? However, I understand what you're saying, okay? We have different systems that we can use, okay? There's a farm management system, there is even a maintenance management system, okay? There's a machine operational management system. So there are different systems that we can utilize that will facilitate this, okay? But we have to allocate our time also as well to this data record or record keeping. On daily basis, okay, whatever we do, whatever we record, okay, there has to be allocated at least an hour at the end of our working day for logistics, record keeping, okay, and keeping the history there. Otherwise, we're going to lose track, okay, if we keep on postponing things, for example, on a long period of time. I hope this answers part of your question. No.
It's a contribution.
Yes.
It's a contribution to show how we have departed from the mark of excellence. We are asking how will this investment contribute to achieve the good plotmanship? What I'm saying is not only the equipment, it's also about the training for the operators, because our operators are very experienced. They use idea to get what they are doing, and after 2 or 3 trials, they get doing it correctly without training. So we need training.
For sure.
Then we need spare parts. Then I'm not saying Oracle is not good. It helps us to identify what is it that we have, what is it that we need. However, because our own sub-store is nearer us, we still do the paperwork, we still track it, but you do not have to wait like we do now for about 3 hours, sometimes 1 week, before you collect what you need to repair a tractor, to fix a tractor, to go to the field and deliver the field within 2 days that the experiment is to be started. That is where I think
we are talking about the two things. So Amir is saying that the record is important for us. And of course, it's important because you need to track and you can analyze the data as well. What's broken more? So maybe the operator is doing something wrong. Maybe we need more spare parts of this item in the yard stock. Anything, the record is really important. And you are saying that we need to keep that, but we need to make it faster, right? You need to disbureaucratize. So from our speak today, right, in the morning, we say that it goes to chaotic, right, and bureaucracy, and then you go to agility. So maybe you are in the bureaucracy and to agile things. So maybe it's this transition. So it's really important, this kind of feedback, because it's something that we need to appoint and it's not to improve. Amir tomorrow will give some more details about maintenance, and maybe we need to discuss a little bit more if this is the reality for the other centers. And maybe this is a point that you need to focus to. I think Gustavo wants to talk. Ladies first.
This is Teresa. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everybody. I'm very interested in everything that you're saying. And just when I'm listening to you talk, what I hear is what happens many times when we automate, we introduce automation into our processes. We need to look at all the processes ahead of that automation and behind that piece of automation. And so you're naming some of those processes already. And so when we introduce automation, it just can completely change the whole process that we're trying to accomplish. And so I would suggest that you identify every single process that goes into whatever that piece of equipment is going to be doing, and ensure that you have all those processes in place, or that they may need to be created, or they may need to be changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. So who doesn't know Teresa? She's helping us with the continuous improvement project, right? So this is the packet of equipments that you are purchasing. So it was really difficult for us to choose between 704 stations in Africa, just 15 for this first kickoff of this bunch of equipment that we are buying through the COP 2000 fund. You're from Lusaka Gift. Lusaka is one of the priority stations for us. Sorry, I didn't put the numbers here because you have a workshop, the same workshop you are handling in Uganda for the other part of Africa. So here just for West and Central Africa. So what you purchase right now is all this equipment. So field soil, kits, plows, rotovators, power hours, mowers, laser lever for the field, the rice fields, manual seeder, seed counters, harvester master, and seed moisture tester. So this is coming. It's already ongoing. Some of this is manufacturing, so it takes a little bit more time or not. The logistics process for each country is different, but we expect this as soon as possible. Maybe before July, all this equipment is in place in the field. Okay. Pending approval, we have RTK stations, weather stations, tractors, arrows, sprayer, planters, plot combine, mobile threshers, lab threshers, and some irrigation system. So it's pending approval because all the centers merging in one CGIR. So this is kind of delay a little bit. We hope and have a big expectation that everything will be approved, but it's still pending. It's still demand from the founders and some bureaucrats inside the one CG. And about the seed processing, cold storage, dry system for seeds, right? And irrigations from the other side of Africa is still defining the scope. So this kind of project is a little bit more complex because the seed processing, we don't want just to bring the equipment. We need to give all the seed processing, make available good flow for everybody. So we are trying to hire a company that a consultant that can make it design the seed processing and make more efficient all these productions. So it's defined the scope because it's a little bit complex for us, and we really want to go for a smoothly transition and centralized seed processing DDT stations. So let's talk a little bit what have been purchased. So here we want to talk and we want to discuss a little bit with you guys about the quantity, the stations, and as well the specifications. We just have until 2, Amir? Yeah, we have 10 minutes more, right? So please raise your hands if you have some questions about the items that you just show up. And we can discuss, of course, during this week as well. So basically the soil test kitting is to get the base parameters of the soil. We can see that in our day station is not a routine to make the soil analysis for your fertilization and everything. So we are trying to bring something that is more useful and fast for you to analyze all your soil composition and make a fertility specific for that region. So you can see that basically it's 2 for 8 stations. Ibadan have 7 because it's a bigger area. And of course, all the reagents comes with it. It's important to mention as well that all the equipment that we are bringing with training for use and for maintenance. Of course, the soil test kit does no maintenance. It's just clean after that. You can, yeah, together, right? I think we have no questions. So as well, we have the Plows. Right. So all the pictures that you are putting here from this purchase price, this purchase part is what we are getting. OK, so this is the real equipment that's coming. Amir, you put in the Dropbox this file so you can access the website and you can go to the details of the specification. OK, but basically it's a plow that you can use everywhere for each kind of crop. So it's more, we try to bring equipment that's not specified for one crop, but we can share between the centers and the NARS. Go ahead, Gustavo.
So just to add, Vinicius, I couldn't get who's asked about training, but it's really important to start mapping who need to be trained, and because soon, in the case of West Africa, Amir will coordinate the training schedule. So it's important to start mapping these. Hey, these people here, there need to be trained, etc. So of course, this would be managed between, for instance, EiB-IITA with Alec and Amir, with Africa Rice, maybe Babukar, or anyway. So I can hear an echo, but defining the people that need to be trained is definitely the next step. Okay. Yeah.
As well, we are trying to buy some spare parts that usually comes with the equipment that we know that we need it. for the next year of operation. So everything is connected to budgets, but we have an eyes on it. This is our rotivator from Askew, and it's coming from Kumasi, Tamale, Ibadan, and San Luis. Yeah, true. And as well have for arrows, right? This is just for Kumasi. Why you exclude the others? Okay. You don't need it actually because you have a lot of equipment for land preparation. So have mowers as well. And as you ask, it's more for Ibadan, okay? We have the laser levels. Basically, the laser level we are indicate for rice fields. I really agree that you need to level your soils. Is better, but we need to make the soil conservation practice. So we are indicate for rice fields because there is no other way to do it without leveling. For the other crops, I agree that leveling is better, but you have soil conservation techniques that you can go for the uniformity, and we should to preserve, as Bodo was just saying for today, right? That we need to thinking about what we can do to make all this environmental better. Go ahead, Amir. We have some manual seeders that is basically for almost all the crops that you are managing now, and it's very flexible for small plots. We have seed counters for the labs, right? And Harvest Master. So this is a good tool for you to use in the labs or in the field. Gustavo?
Yeah, so one item that we have already purchased, Vinicius, it's not in this list, but we purchased as part of the same project 2 planters for roots and tubers that will need to test. These planters we defined with Bruce. Bruce will be tomorrow presenting the seed processing. But we also, these maybe we will be shipped soon to some locations in Africa. We bought 2 to validate that, and this is important for it's a planter that can plant multiple crops, can plant yam, potatoes, and cassava. So, but we need to test and validate that. So probably you'll receive one soon, and we can work on that together. Okay.
I think it's important to mention as well, Gustavo, all these equipments you are focusing breeding programs. It's not commercial. So that's why you are bringing another alternative to planted tubers, because you have the commercial ones that you have some spreads around Africa already that most basically is for cassava that's come from Brazil. Is not this one, is another kind of solution that we are thinking about the breeding programs because must be customized. And as well, all this equipment we are thinking about the breeding programs as well. It's not for commercial purpose. As the Harvest Master, right? It's a tool that you can bring in the field. Maybe if you're threshing something manual, you're not using combine, you can use this. You can use in the lab as well. So it's a really robust equipment. As well, have a portable Foreseed moisture tester. And this is all the things that we're expecting to come as soon as possible. It's a red purchase, it's a red on the shipment process of these equipments. Another one is a red manufacturing. So in the couple of next months, it will be on places. This is pending approval for this bureaucracy process that we are talking about for 1CG. So it's RTK stations, weather stations. That's, I think is important comment here. This weather stations is autonomous weather stations, and you want to integrate with the breeding system. So yeah, so it's very available data you don't need to manage. Tractors, of course, is the important one. Arrows, sprayer, and some planters, combines, and thresher. So for all these equipments as well, we define the supplier. We just need to pay them to be able to send for us. Okay, so we have some rice seeders that for row seeders and plot combiners and mobile thresher. The mobile thresher, you are bringing something that's for multiple crops, and you can use it for different kinds of crops that you're planting, and the lab thresher as well. The irrigation system is a little bit complex, so tomorrow we have a special session for that. We want to talk a little bit about how to operate the irrigation system, how to maintain that, and why it takes so long time to define the scope. Yeah. Okay. I thought that you want 1 minute. And the last but not least, that some of this we didn't start yet to looking for. Some of these we already started with some stations. We needed a little bit more time. It's just me and Amir, and it's a little complex. Is about the seed processing and everything that is involved. That's the dry system and the cold storage. So some of you already have some questions from Amir, answered by you. Amir already asked some questions for you about seed processing. Basically, what me and Amir want to discover is your real demand. If you can centralize the seed processing, and in base of that, we can bring the correct equipment for you with the right demand and with the right size of cold storage and the dry system.